Welcome back to Digi Bros. I'm gonna go buy a bunch of potions and revives and shit, so I don't have to keep walking out of this fucking
That's what smart
rocket
people do.
dungeon.
That's
yeah.
the smart way to play the game.
No! I don't like the smart way.
You're in the town with the most complicated fucking
this.
store that it's like impossible to navigate.
Ah, bro. We got this.
I'm also surprised you didn't go to the Pokemon Center first. That just feels natural to me.
True. And fuck the Pokemon Center.
So,
for fucking free healthcare.
Man, we did this, me and my friends did this Commenter Rules podcast the other day. That'll come out, I don't know if it'll be out yet by the time this comes out. But, we get, at one point in the middle, we got into this long, protracted debate about pronunciations. And how I feel that you should never correct someone for their pronunciation in a video.
Yes.
Because it doesn't fucking matter.
Yes.
And nobody cares. And you're being a bitch.
Yes.
And a little bitch. And a little bitch. And a little bitch. So, it bothers me. And then I got a huge argument with Jesse and Nate. We were like literally screaming at each other for like 30 minutes arguing about this. Because they both think that you should be correct all the time in your pronunciation. And I don't. My defense is that there's no difference between learning a word different and having an accent. That's my justification. Because everybody who has like an obvious accent, like if someone has a British accent, they pronounce everything different from you, and all of it sounds weird. But you just go, well, that guy's got a British accent, so whatever. But if you've got an American accent and you talk to somebody, but they just say like 3 words different, then. Like, and I understand the concern, maybe being like, hey, you know it's not pronounced that way normally, you know? But, like, is it, if you can tell what the word is it wrong?
Yeah.
Like, that's my logic here. How do you feel about this? I was actually asking you. That was a question.
I don't fucking care. I think it's annoying. I think,
What you think what's annoying, exactly?
Correcting people on their fucking pronunciation because it doesn't fucking matter.
Right. Well, you said earlier in one of your rants in the last episode, you said the phrase quote unquote. And I was like, huh. Cuz the line is quote unquote.
Oh, is that what it is?
As in it's a quotation mark and then an unquotation mark.
I've never known.
So quote unquote.
I've always heard quote unquote, and that's all I've ever known.
But then I was just like, is there any difference? Because the phrase already doesn't make any fucking sense. What does quote unquote mean? It means nothing.
Stupid.
It's just a weird random idiom colloquialism thing. And like quote unquote also makes no sense.
Yes.
But it means the same thing, obviously.
Quotes on quotes.
So, like, it to me, there's a measure by which you could say, like, okay, if it matters to you, if you're someone who generally cares about sounding correct and, like, sounding like however, and by the way, correct here, I'm using this word in the same way that I might use the word good. Yeah. As in, like, there is no inherent good, but there are things that you would call good colloquially to describe something to someone. That's what I mean by correct, alright? Because there is no necessary correct way to say shit. The point of words is to communicate stuff. And if people get what you mean, that's what matters. Fuck. Now, the reason we have pronunciation is because it's easier to get what people mean when you can understand what they're saying, because it sounds like how you would say it. But as long as you get the point, that's what really matters. So if you're someone who really cares about sounding the way that people expect you to sound, then maybe you want to be corrected. Maybe you want someone to tell you, hey, it's quote unquote, you know? And then you go, oh, okay, now nobody's gonna think I'm a fucking weirdo when I say it. Yes. But if you say quote unquote all the time, to me, that's like a more unique and interesting thing, the fact that you say that. Like, it's something only you could say. And that makes it like an accent, basically. Because, like, I never realized until, like, recently that no one pronounces the L in talk and walk except for me. What? Apparently. Everyone says talk and walk. Talk and walk.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I've been told that the way I say talk, people make fun of me by writing 3 L's in talk because I say like talk, like a lot of L.
Yeah.
I say talk and walk.
Talk.
You don't even say that much L. That was more like
No, it's talk.
a
Talk.
little L.
Talk.
Yeah.
You're literally making a little sound.
I say talk.
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 What
are you
talking
talking
about? I've never heard anyone say talk though.
What you talking
That doesn't
about?
make any sense.
What are you talking about?
God, that's annoying. What is this, New York?
That's what I thought. Like, but then people were like,
What are you
pointing
talking
out-
about?
People were like, oh, you have like 7 L's in your talk, and I was like, okay.
Okay,
But
go fuck yourself.
The one that really got me, and you probably know this one. How do you pronounce the word iron?
Iron?
I say iron.
To me, it depends. I don't know.
I've always said iron, and I don't know
Yeah.
why. Maybe is there maybe
Because
something?
Iron Reaver Soul Stealer!
There you go. But no, he probably says Iron Reaver, and I just
I think there's a... I don't know. I
Maybe
feel like
I-
you just
I
say
had to hear it
Iron
again.
Reaver Soul Stealer!
that. I mean, if that's the case, then that's exactly why. If that's because I was thinking Full Metal Alchemist. I was like, is there anything where they say iron in that? Because there is an Iron Alchemist in the show.
Something like that.
But I was like, if it's Iron Reaver Soul Stealer, I had to hear it now.
It has to
But
be.
like, I was saying, like, I say iron all the time, and like, someone had said something about it in a comment, and then I brought it up to Donson, and he was like, oh yeah, I've noticed that for 8 years, and it's been driving me crazy that you say iron. And then I went up to everybody I knew and said, how do you say that word? And they all went, iron. And I'm like, what the hell? Why am I the only one saying iron? But I can never unlearn that. That's how I say the word.
Yeah.
Is that not an accent?
Yeah.
Because, like, Canadians, if you ever listen, like, we've both watched Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
And in that show, everyone in the show sounds like a normal American accent until they say out and about.
Yes.
Those are the only 2 words. They'll be like, what are you talking about? And you're like, what the hell? What was that? You know? Or on the show Loading Ready Run, which is this comedy troupe that used to be on The Escapist. I don't think they are anymore. But they're all Canadian. And I'd watch their skits, and just every time they said out or about, I was just like, what happened? You know, like,
Yeah.
it takes you, it's like another universe. But that's all the accent is. There's no difference between a Canadian and American accent except the words out and about, you know? And some places, about, it gets even worse. But, yeah.
What are you talking about?
As far as I'm concerned, I just have a weird accent that is not necessarily identifiable as a regional accent.
Okay, yeah.
Like, just because, like, and the funniest thing to me is that, like, I've talked about this on the show before, how I say niche instead of niche. Or do I say niche instead of niche? Now I've lost track.
know.
I say niche. I say niche instead of niche.
What do I say?
Well, because I've been trying to, like, do it both ways now because people bitch about it, so I'm just, like, completely confused now. But I usually say niche. Like, you have a certain niche to fill. And I got a bunch of people complaining about it, but then, like, some of those comments would be, I hate the way Americans say niche.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not an American thing, it's just me, you fucking pretentious asshole. Ah, man.
Oh gosh.
When you hear the podcast, man, it's legit almost 30 minutes of screaming over this. Like screaming over each other, all 3 of us at once. It is madness, and I had such, like, my blood pressure was so high, and I had the Maddox thing going on, like when he's got the vein, and he's like,
Yes.
I'm shaking, and I'm so mad. That was me, and it was like, but it was because it was an entertaining argument, and afterwards we went right back to talking about other shit for like an hour. So I was just sitting there like trying to diffuse all this heat in my brain,
Yes.
you know? And like after it was over, I took off the headphones and I was like, oh my god, the heat's not going away. I took like 2 Advil and went for a walk for like 45 minutes out in the, like, you know, it was like nice and cool outside, and I was just like, like, it felt like, you know, when you're hot and then you put your hands out into the breeze, like it actually felt like that.
God.
Just in my head.
Incredible. Over some stupid bullshit
Yes.
that no one fucking cares about.
Exactly. Except for, well, I clearly care about it.
Yes.
I care quite deeply. I was very, very I was like, I was literally like, this is my hill to die on. Like, this is my battle.
Jesus.
This is the battle of my life. This is what I'll contribute to humanity. It's this argument. Like,
Oh
this is
my
more
God.
important than anything else I've ever done. Is this argument about pronunciation?
It's important. I guess.
Write it. Put this on my tombstone.
Ugh.
He filled a very special niche. Write that on my tombstone.
Hey.
Or a very particular niche.
Sure, all my fucking pronunciation's fucked up because I learned from you.
Yes, I had a feeling that's why you would get behind my argument.
Of course.
Is because we've talked on Digibros before how you say weird shit because I taught you wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
You learned me wrong.
I did learn you wrong.
I was raised by television and an idiot.
I had to talk about this just because in the process of the last 4 episodes, we both said so many weird, wrong things, especially me. And Jesse was because when I brought up Trailer Park Boys, Jesse was like, you know, one of the biggest jokes on the show is that Ricky says everything wrong. And the joke is funny because it's wrong and you're laughing at him. And I was like, she sent me like a Ricky-isms video, and I was like, this man's a hero. This man is reinventing the language and making it better. And, yeah. So, I just had a bunch of Conrad-isms, Digi-isms.
What did I just get? What was that team?
In the last few episodes.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah, well, you know. I talked to Shade about it, and he was on my side, too. And I had to, I convinced Mom very succinctly that it was an accent. Because I first said it, I was like, I just have a weird accent. And she was like, it's not an accent. It's like, and I was like, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, I guess. And I was like, ha-ha.
Wee-dee-wee.
Ha-ha. Wee-wee-wee. Confirmation.
True. Rare candy. I'm gonna give that to my Vulpix.
I'm curious, Victor, how often do you seek confirmation from your peers? Ever?
No,
Is there anyone,
I don't think I do.
Is there anyone in the world who...
In what context?
Who, like, you need, like affirmation on your feelings about things? Like, if you felt... Or not even that you need affirmation, but that it would improve, like, you would go like, yeah. Like, if you had an argument in mind and you convinced somebody of it, does that make you go, yeah?
I guess maybe you or Hope are the only people I really, like, care about enough to, you know, do that with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Do you get, can you think of any times that you get that sensation of convincing? I'm sure it's happened on this show. Anytime you get really loud and, like, impassioned about something,
yes.
like... I'm sure there's been times where you, like, convinced me of something and we're like, yeah, that's right, motherfucker.
Whenever I have one of my grand points, convincing you or Hope is satisfying, I suppose. Yeah. Just being like, alright, I'm not insane, this makes sense. Yeah!
See, the problem, I think the biggest problem I'm facing right now with this whole, like, fame and, like, lots of commenters thing.
Yeah.
This is kind of like what always ends up, what kills me in the end, is that I'm fighting the ocean. And I really want, I was shocked I couldn't find a, like, meme. I want there to be, like, someone make this for me. Make me a like, news headline article where there's a picture of a man, like, punching the ocean, and it says, local man fights the ocean. I need that fake newspaper headline to represent my life. Because, like, I love to argue.
Yeah.
And I love to be right. And I love to argue until we come to a consensus that I am right.
Yes.
And it's a lot of fun for me when it's like, me and you argue on this show, we come to a conclusion usually, right? There's usually a moment, right? Did it zone out for a second?
Yeah, go on.
I said right because I wanted a response.
Okay.
Would you not say that we come to conclusions on this show when we argue?
Yes.
Usually? And me and my friends,
I like to come to conclusions.
We will either argue until conclusion or we will argue until we are all sick of arguing and we've come to realize that we're not going to agree on it. Yes. That's how me and my online friends usually are. But when you try to argue with the nebulous concept of the internet, it's impossible. Because I can't argue with every commenter. Yeah. I can't do it. There's too many of them. So what happens is...
That's why the appeal of the internet is lost on me, because you won't come to a conclusion. You won't find any answers.
Individually you can sometimes. But, like, that's the thing. When I make a video and there's 4,000 comments, like my erased one, I can't argue with all those people.
Yeah.
And then, like, what I'll do is I'll pick out certain things that I'm like, okay, enough people have brought this up, it bothers me, I'm gonna make a video about it, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll make a video to, like, sort of, you know, posit my point, but it's like, I can't just send it to those people. It's now, like, out there, and everyone has their opinions about that thing, and it's just like, you can't just, like, simply argue with a mass of people, you know?
Yeah.
Even really, my erased video itself, like, I was describing it to someone as, like, it's really not aimed at everybody. It's really aimed at people who felt a certain way.
Yeah.
But there's no way for me to just let those people see it. You know, like, the video is really meant to address people like Subsonic Sparkle, who started off liking Erased, and then by the end of the season, he said I was right from the beginning to be down about it. And so it was kind of me saying to those people, hey, you should have known that this show was shit from the beginning, because the only interesting thing about it was the premise. If you didn't feel that way, really, the video's not for you, because it's not going to be helpful. It's not your perspective, you know? It's my perspective, and those people's. And, like, the fact of the matter is, it's just out there on the internet, and everyone's going to see it. And people who that doesn't help them at all are going to watch it, you know? And, like, I can't change that. But, like, what it means is that instead of me, like, arguing with the people who it would be relevant to, I instead have this entire other fucking people who don't even know who I am arguing with me, you know? People who have no context for why I do what I do. And, that's what I can't stand. I wish there was a way to, like, make it so you could only get comments from, like, people who have seen a certain number of your videos. Like, if there was some kind of, like, bar for entry, like, you have to audition to be able to be a commenter, you know? Because I don't dislike negative comments. I dislike comments that don't get it. Comments that miss the point, which is, like, most of them. Like, most negative comments, I don't get mad at them because they disagree. I get mad at them because they bring up something completely unrelated to what I'm trying to do, and then say, fuck you, you piece of shit, you didn't, you know, do what I want you to do.
Yeah.
Anyway. Again, I shouldn't even keep ranting about this because there's already the commenter podcast.
Yes.
That's gonna be 2 hours of this. But it was funny because when we did it, like, I was expecting to be the guy who would go on forever, but of course Jesse Wood, who is Endless Jess, who is deeply passionate about hating commenters, just would, like, he was just going off, like, going insane. Like, he probably, it's the only time in a podcast ever that he talked the most. Because he's so passionate about the subject of fucking, of being against commenters.
Man. They're some assholes.
Well, because Jesse can't take any of it, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm pretty forgiving of commenters because I assume that most of them either A, don't realize how much of a dick they're being.
Yeah.
Or B,
don't care.
Or like, you know, maybe they're just trying to, because a lot of them are trying to be funny and they're failing. And Jesse hates that. He can't stand when people try to be funny. He'll ban you for trying to be funny because he hates that. Like, for me, I usually just kind of groan, and I'm like, I get it. You think you're funny. You're not, but whatever. You clearly, like, it doesn't mean you dislike the video or, like, are ragging on me. You're just trying to be funny, and you're not funny, you know? I can forgive that. Jesse can't. So he'll ban people for, like, anything. Anything that
Holy shit. Self-destruct.
Anything which remotely offends him is a bannable offense, which is almost everything. So, you know, so he was, like, really going off. And I was, like, trying to get us organized. But then I ended up fueling a 30-minute pronunciation argument.
Badass.
It's a great podcast. I love it. I actually volunteered to edit it because I liked it so much. And I wrote a song for it.
Oh.
I could play you the song, but I had to click away from the game. It's only 40 seconds long.
Whoa.
Yeah, whatever. It's called Commenters Please Kill Yourself.
End the episode by playing the song?
I could. Do you want to? Because we're at the end.
Are we? Oh, go ahead.
We're at the end of the episode. All right, let's play this. Oh yeah, pause the game sound by itself. I guess the song is gonna come through. Yeah, whatever. It'll be fine. I'll play it a little louder for you. This does not apply to Digibros comments.
Commenters, please kill yourselves and free me from this living hell. If your comment is mean and snide, then you can just fuck off and die. Why do you feel entitled to spewing your bullshit attitude? You're rude and crude and I hate you, so kill yourselves please and be cool. I pronounced a word wrong, I don't care. I didn't represent you, yeah, no shit, I am myself, motherfucker. Think I got a bad attitude? Well, you ain't seen shit. I shadow banned your ass, to deal with it.
That song in itself was basically a YouTube comment. It's wonderful.
Yeah, that was Hippo said it sounded like Green Day.
All right. I'm chill with that.
Next time on Digibros.
Oh.